you there? She's not going to answer, Leo. What do we do? We got to get April out of that van, but Dogtown's in there. And we're not ready to fight that guy off. Splitter was right. We should have stayed below. Can't believe I'm going to say this. Get it together, Captain. You're our leader, so act like one.
An inspirational quote from Leo's favorite TV show. Well, I mean, it would be a strange coincidence, or Raphael just trying to give him a little pep talk. But it also could be a little clue as to what's really going on in the TMNT verse. And I'm about to explain it all in this video, which is also a test on the new editing software that I'm using for YouTube. So let's just see how high quality I can make it. Anyways, on to the theory.
Hey guys, D326 here, and welcome to my series called Deeories, the series where I analyze other popular series, hated or beloved, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Mega Man, and do theories on them. They could be stupid, they could be smart, and possible. I'm not a professional on science or anything like YouTubers like Matthew Patrick, aka Game Theory / Film Theory, or even Super Carlin Brothers, but I do know a lot about researching bits of lore and details and make them into possible theories that I have. So, let's get started.
Let's get on with the theory. So we all know TMNT, we all know theories, we all know theory channels like Game Theory, or Super Carlin Brothers, or Treesicle. I think it's one. I don't know. What about since since on Game Theories, or I guess on Film Theories channel, we've basically seen one theory on TMNT, and that's if the TMNT actually do exist. Well, actually could exist. It would basically trying figuring out ways, possible ways on how to bring TMNT to real life. Not the show, but like theoretically bringing TMNT to real life. What we haven't seen is anything on, well, the lore on that channel. And there are others that have made theories, but I don't really think they're that interesting. Or at least from my perspective, I don't. But this theory I have is something that I immediately thought of, and I'm basing it off of the 2012 version, because that's the only version that we actually see these possible theory fodder. So let's start with my initial idea for this theory. Before I actually thought of this theory, I thought of where um basically where Usagi, Yojimbo, and like all the other characters from that episode he was in, basically where they all were at, basically where they lived, since it seemed more like the spirit realm and less of a place that's located on Earth. But after rewatching the TMNT show, which obviously there's some weird weird moments from there, but it's just a show that you would really love, so check it out. Well, I recommend Hulu, although I might have accidentally. Never mind. But alright. So either way, um, this theory is on, well, the TV show that Leo always loves to watch, Space Heroes. Now we've seen basically a crossover of the TMNT's dimension and the fictional dimension inside the TMNT dimension, as we saw later on in as we see later on in the episode in the Belfry. And basically, oh wait, I immediately forgot all that I was doing. But either way, this is the theory about how the fictional franchises that are in, gosh, I can't say. Right, basically, the fictional universes that are in TMNT are secretly just part of multiple timelines, or not timelines, but different realities in which they are, it's going to be weird to say, they are they are reincarnations of the turtles. Sounds like a stretch. Well, I'll go over why it kind of sounds like it might make sense. So enjoy me talking about TMNT for way too long, and I'm trying to win you over with the theory.
Let's start with point number 1. The fact that Space Heroes and other TV shows that they've watched, and even Mikey's comic books, were able to predict the outcome of each and every episode that they're in. Don't believe me? Well, in the episode Invasion of the Squirrelnoids, we see Mikey reading a comic book that's basically the entire episode. The whole strategy that he uses against the Squirrelnoids, and even the Squirrelnoids' way of reproducing, which is through the body of a human. Either way, it's in the comic book, and the comic book is basically a reoccurrence of this event. But it wouldn't make sense if it was just a comic book, because it still worked in the real world, their real world. So there's gotta be some more to it. And I know what you're going to say. D, that's stupid. Just because they can predict the future doesn't mean that they are part of the TMNT universe. Well, you're wrong. In the episode Bat in the Belfry, we see Screwloose and Wingnut come right into the TMNT world, or universe, I guess, and through a magical space jewel. Saying magical, the magical space jewel from the space arc that April had on her necklace, and maybe, and where else do we see portals in the TMNT multiverse? Oh, that's right. The only way to get into the actual multiverse. Remember, it all began in Turtles Forever, that movie that featured the 1987 TMNT, the 80s, the comic book TMNT, and 2003 TMNT. And how did they get to the other dimensions? Portals. Also, if we kind of start questioning the space jewel, we can infer that the space jewel is part of the dimensional rift gun that 1987 Donatello still has, which would make sense for this theory, and would make sense in the lore. Obviously, we need some more details, but what else is there to talk about? Well, point number 2. The fact that the fictional characters in their TV shows are directly similar to the turtles themselves. Just like as I explained when talking about the episode Invasion of the Squirrelnoids, when the whole entire episode was directly tied to the exact same comic book that Mikey was reading. The turtles themselves act a whole lot like the characters in their favorite TV shows, like how Leonardo is basically acting like Captain Ryan from Space Heroes without even knowing it. This show does a great job of showing the similarities between the TMNT and their TV shows, but what if the creators did that on purpose to show the connection between the two? With each TV show comes a favorite, like how Leo's favorite show is Space Heroes, but the Turtles' favorite show also has, well, basically the main character act like the turtle, like how Leo's favorite show, Space Heroes, has the main character, Captain Ryan, act like him, overconfident, but still caring about, well, who he's working with. Point number 3. The fact that each TV show is basically mirroring the events that are happening to the turtles in the TMNT 2012 TV show. Think it's a stretch? Well, wrong. In Space Heroes, we basically see all of those heroes in space, ironically enough. And where else do we see TMNT? Oh, that's right, space. There was a whole entire arc dedicated to when they were in space collecting all the black hole generator pieces uh, to basically reverse the time that Earth was decimated by the black hole so that they can destroy it and start their new lives back on Earth. Also, in Krognar the Barbarian, we've seen the heroes basically in this wasteland of a planet. And in TMNT, there was a mutagen fallout that basically turned New York City into a wasteland in a post-apocalyptic Earth, sort of to speak, where Raph was basically out on a hunt looking for his brothers, just to see if there was a chance that they could find new life, new land that basically shows that part of New York City stayed. There's a lot more to it, but for right now, there's already enough info on this to make a pretty good assumption. So, let's move on. to point number 4. And since this is the last one, I will cut it brief. And this last point is basically that both the 2012 TMNT universe and every TMNT universe at this point, and their favorite TV shows both show signs of superhuman animals or other superhuman creatures. In TMNT, it's basically everywhere, from Ice Cream Kitty to the turtles themselves to even Slash, Dr. Rockwell, etc. But in their TV shows, well, there's more there. In Space Heroes, there's a lot of aliens in the show, but the main one that we know and love, who is also a superhuman alien, is Dr. Mindstone, who's basically part of the main cast, so he is an important character. The others are Spoon from Krognar the Barbarian and the Monkey from Super Robo Mecha Force 5. Spoon is just like Whisper from Yokai Watch. He's basically like the sidekick to Krognar the Barbarian. And he is basically a superhuman alien, so I think that counts. Plus he's part of the main cast, along with the monkey, who's literally able to drive part of the mech itself. So, surprisingly, he is a superhuman monkey, and he's also terrifying like heck.
So, that's my theory. Am I right? Am I wrong? Either way, I had fun making this. It was honestly a blast using the editing software that I used for this video. Although I did run into a little bit of an error, well, not much of an error, but like a little bit of a mistake. But either way, it was great. This video was actually really fun to make, and it combined something that I loved I love thinking about and also watching on YouTube, and something that I love to watch, and one of my favorite fictional series by far. So yeah, uh, there's a fly in my room right now, but either way, thanks for watching, uh, um, and thanks for being part of. Gosh, thanks for being a part of this whole entire journey. I'm getting better so far, but yeah, uh, I love doing these. If you want me to cover any other series, I'd be happy to do that. Just type them in the comments below, and I'll do them. And honestly, this video was so worth it. So can you please like it? Just because I had fun doing it. It was really fun. And yeah. So with that being said, uh, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the uh, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.